Welcome back to Real Shift, where we like to talk real shit all day, every day, all for the love of movies, and sometimes TV, and sometimes music. It's a little bit of everything today. Before I get into it, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Any little bit of feedback or support would be greatly appreciated. Going to be doing something a little bit different today. This is a subject that I've touched on before, but I've never really had a deep dive into it, but within the past couple of days I've just experienced more and more of it, and I just need, I guess, to vent a little bit about what I've been seeing and how basically what I've noticed is that people, it's become cool essentially to hate on greatness. And what I actually mean by that and how it pertains to what I do on this channel, you'll see by the end of this. But essentially what it's come down to is that through my travels, you look at any media outlets, you look at anyone on social media, and whatever the case may be, they're always trying to tear someone down. That's what I feel like. I feel like these platforms are constantly being used to try and tear down people who are great at what they do, which is really strange to me because these are the people that we should be appreciating. I speak of many times how in movies, and it could be said for television as well, it could be even said for music, we get a lot of garbage being released to us. Now, that has a lot to do with the companies who are putting that shit out. It also has a lot to do with the people who are supporting that garbage. So when it comes right down to it, we're getting a lot of garbage, and it's gotten to the point now where that stuff is what is praised. Like, people put that shit on a pedestal and try to basically make it out to be something fun or something fresh, when in all actuality there's no creativity behind it. There's no sense of, I guess, trying to further a culture along. And whether that be movies as a culture, whether that be music as a culture, nothing is progressing the culture. I feel like we're regressing in each of these different mediums, and it's happening all over the place. And I think a lot of it has to do with social media, to be honest with you. I mean, every single person has a social media account, almost. So by them having that, if they feel like they have a platform to go on and give their opinions, no matter how bad or how disrespectful those opinions are. I'm not even going to say bad opinions, because opinions, that's what they are. They're opinions. I mean, it's a lot of these things are subjective. And I'll get into the difference, or actually just giving your opinion about the subject matter as opposed to just being straight up disrespectful. And that's pretty much where I'm coming from with this video. It happens a lot where people put their feelings into things, and just because they don't like something, they find it impossible for some reason to respect it. Like, for instance, during the Oscar season, and I've covered the Oscars extensively on this channel, but in the past Oscar season I brought up several times how, because Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese were both nominated for Best Picture and Director, I believe, and they both deserved it in my personal opinion. Both had very quality movies last year, but there was like this movement on social media to discredit them, and I just don't understand that. These are two guys who are at the top of their game in their profession, like literally make flawless movies. They do. It's the truth. I mean, Quentin Tarantino alone, in my opinion, has never made a bad movie. He's never made a bad movie. His catalog is flawless, and that's just coming from my perspective. I know, I realize it's just an opinion, but even if you don't like his movies, even if you don't like the subject matter that Quentin Tarantino puts out, you don't like his style, whatever the case may be, and I understand that it's not for everyone. I fully recognize that. You still have to be able to respect the quality of the work that he's putting out, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to respect the subject matter, you got to respect the quality, though. You know, respect the way he writes dialogue, respect the way that he stages his shots. All of that, like, that should be, you should be able to look past your personal feelings about him and just be like, yes, he is a great director, even though I don't like his movies. Same thing goes with Scorsese. He comes out and he's been in the game now for what, since the 70s, I think it is, and he has made numerous classics and flawless movies. And he comes out and he makes one opinion that people don't necessarily agree with, and that's of course about MCU. And all of a sudden now everybody wants to hate on Martin Scorsese. I hate to break it to everyone who hates Martin Scorsese because of what he said about Marvel, but to be quite honest, I trust his opinion about film much more than I trust the millions of people who went to go see Endgame. I mean, no disrespect, but the guy, again, as I mentioned, is at the top of his game. Like, so he deserves a level of respect, and he deserves to be able to put his opinion out there. And I think he should be allowed to do that without any form of criticism. I mean, he was simply saying something that a lot of people, like myself, are thinking. Like, it's gotten to a point now where it's not about creating art. It's just about making money. It's just about putting out these shallow movies that just make a lot of money in a few weekends and then they're forgotten about after the fact. Like, that's basically what he was getting at. He's about preserving the sanctity of the theater. Quentin is the same way. Quentin constantly rallies against things like video on demand, and they even said that he turned the studio down when they wanted to put his last movie. I don't think it was Once Upon a Time. I think it was The Hateful Eight. They wanted to put his movie straight out on video on demand, and he's flat out refused. He said, "I'd rather not release it," and that's because he has a level of respect for the theater, for the theater experience. And that's something that I think a lot of people just don't have anymore. Like, people on social media. I'm just going by how I see people acting on social media. Like, it's not about art to people anymore. It's not about creating something that's going to stand the test of time. It's about being entertained in the moment. And as long as you do that for 2 hours, then I'm happy. And that's fine. I mean, there are instances where movies like that are necessary. And just a popcorn movie. I like popcorn movies. There's popcorn movies that I call them guilty pleasures, call them whatever you want to call them, but I just watch them for pure entertainment value. There's nothing really anything deeper there. But the problem is that the market has become flooded with those type of movies now. People like Tarantino and Scorsese who make legitimate films, they're the ones who are in the minority now, and they're the ones who are fighting for the sanctity of the theater and trying to preserve the art form. And for some reason, people hate on them for that. And that's what I just don't understand. I don't understand why we gotten to the point where it's just cool to hate on people who are really good at their job. I mean, who are just perfected their job. And it happens with everything. It happens in movies. Acting is the same way. It happens in sports. I mean, I'm not going to get on a sports kick right now, but you see it all the time. I mean, people that win a lot in sports are hated by people because they win so much. I mean, that's kind of what it is, but they're winning for a reason. They're winning because they're putting in the work and they are doing what is necessary to get better at what they do. A student of the game, if you will. That is the mark of a great athlete, and even a great director, or whatever the case may be, a great actor, someone who takes their art form or their job seriously and wants nothing more than to get better at it and strive to be better at it each and every day. And that's what I don't understand. Like, you could not like a person. Like, you could not like LeBron James. I'm not even a big fan of LeBron James, to be quite honest. But to say that he is not a good basketball player is ridiculous. You may not like him, but you could still recognize that he is good at playing basketball and he's one of the best in the league. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's where I think people are kind of getting all screwed up in this whole thing, is that they're putting their personal feelings in it, and they're like, well, I don't like him, so he sucks. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, these people, we need to learn to appreciate these people when they're here, because they're not always going to be here. And all the shit that we get in movies now, and television, and music, we need to appreciate the people who are actually trying, who are actually giving a shit, who are actually trying to do something special and creative. And we need to appreciate those people while they're here, because they're not going to be here forever. And, you know, it's like the old saying goes, like, you don't get that level of appreciation until you're dead. Like, we need to stop doing that as a society. We need to come here and just basically learn to appreciate these people when we have them, because they deserve our appreciation. I mean, they have mastered their craft, and we need to treat them as such. So if you're wondering exactly where all this is coming from, or why I said it, because I've mentioned this stuff before, and now I'm elaborating on it further, but there was kind of a big story, sort of, in the music industry this week, and I don't know if you guys are into hip hop. Whoever watches me I don't know if you're into hip hop, but I'm trying to make a correlation here, so just follow along. I do like hip hop. I'm a hip hop head. I've listened to hip hop since probably I was 5 years old, I would say. It's part of my upbringing. So yeah, it's just always been a part of my life. So, well, the conversation came up this week about Eminem, and if you know who Eminem is, you know he's a very controversial rapper. You know he's been around for a while. He's been around, what, since like 98 now, I think. Well, essentially it came up, and Snoop Dogg, who was another rapper, of course, he basically said that he could live without Eminem's music. Of course, everybody tried to turn that into, oh, people are mad because Snoop didn't put Eminem in his top 10. I'm like, no, that's not the case. Top 10s are subjective. Top 10s mean nothing in the landscape of being influential on a culture. That has nothing to do with that. Top 10 is who do you like? Like, who's your favorite rapper? What are your favorite movies? Like, people have to, again, figure out the difference between the two, because I don't think a lot of people get that. I think, again, you're putting your personal influences into it, but basically they tried to make it about the top 10 thing, and it wasn't about that. It was more about what he said about his music, and it basically was trying to discredit his music and discredit his whole discography. Like, everything that he's done for hip-hop is discredited because I don't like the type of music he makes. Now, you can not like the type of music he makes. I'm not faulting you for that. I'm not saying that you have to be an Eminem fan. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, as a hip-hop fan, I've listened to Eminem extensively, and he is one of the best to ever do it. And for people to come out and basically disrespect that and try to minimize his impact on the culture, that to me is unforgivable, and that to me is, quite frankly, ridiculous. And that's where we're at. It's just a culmination of kind of all the things I've been talking about, is where it's like you have a guy who lives, breathes, sleeps rhyming. Like, that's what he does. He literally reads the dictionary for fun because he wants to have a large vocabulary, because that's what his job is. His job is to have a large vocabulary and to make those words rhyme and to put out songs that get people, motivated or to inspire people, or whatever the case may be, connect with people. Like, that's his job. So he has taken that to another level, and he lives, breathes, eats, shits it. Like, that's what he does. Like, he doesn't have anything else in life really other than this. Like, his whole goal coming in as a young artist was to gain respect, and he had to work that much harder, of course, because of the color of his skin, and it's predominantly a black culture as it comes to hip-hop music. So he was very much the minority in that group, but he has gained acceptance from all the greats because of his work ethic, because of how much he puts into the craft. And I think what goes unnoticed is like the versatility of it, his impact on the culture, and of course just the lyrics. Because if anyone has heard anything out of modern day hip hop, it's not about lyrics anymore. It's about a beat. It's like, people don't try to come up with witty and catchy lyrics and punchlines. Like, that's not like what it's about anymore. It's just about getting people to shake their ass, essentially. Like, that's essentially what people do now, and that's why things like mumble rap are popular now, because people want the most simplistic form of entertainment for some reason, and I don't understand why. And a lot of times what they do too is to prop things like that up. They'll try to take someone like him who is very good at what he does and try to bring him down. Like, so you have to prop something else up. In order to prop something else up, you bring something else down. And I don't understand why we need to do that. Like, you could just be a fan of whatever you want to be a fan of, but that doesn't mean you have to disrespect something else. So basically what I'm getting at here, and I'm trying not to ramble here, but it's just an all-encompassing like idea that's going on in entertainment right now, where people just are okay with this minimalist approach to entertainment, with just, again, taking the easy way out. They just want to be entertained for a minute or 2 hours, or whatever the case may be. They don't really care about quality. They don't really care about substance. And as a result, now we've gotten to the point where these people are actually hating on people who are actually doing it the right way. And I just don't understand how we got to this point. It's very unfortunate in my eyes because, again, these people aren't going to be here forever, and we should appreciate them while they're here. And we should be demanding that everyone does it to that level or takes it that seriously. Not just put all the effort just to get noticed and then you just put it in neutral and just do the bare minimum because you're famous and you're getting money now. Like, that's what people do now, and we need to push these companies and push these people to put out better stuff, to put more effort and creativity into these things, because we're the only ones that are going to suffer. I mean, we're giving them our money, so they're getting richer, we're getting poor. They're giving us shit as far as content goes, so we're not gaining anything really out of it. And it's just like this ugly, vicious circle, and again, they're benefiting and we're not. If we want the best out of our entertainment, then we have to demand the best. We have to stop giving our money to garbage. We have to stop giving our money to just this popcorn, bubblegum, whatever you want to call it, soulless entertainment. And we need to just demand better. And that's just all I ever wanted. That's why I started this channel. That's why I come on here weekly and I react to these news items and I do what I have to do, because I just feel like we're losing something by not demanding better. We're just sitting here and we're just taking whatever we're given, and we're never going to get better if we do that. And I say that all the time. That's why I say you got to demand better of companies like Disney or whoever the case may be. These big companies who just mass produce things and just push them out to you and just force feed you stuff and just expect you to take it and like it, and you don't have a say in the matter, and they even criticize you if you do criticize them. Like, that's where we're at right now, where we can't even have an opinion on this stuff without someone trying to take us down. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's all about just appreciating the people who are at the top of their game, appreciating the people who are actually trying to create something that's going to stand the test of time, that is going to inspire people to do the same. So that's basically all I have to say on this matter. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.